The date you will arrive in Portugal is getting closer. Maybe you're retiring here or relocating with your family, and you've done a ton of things to prepare, from getting your visa to researching the place you want to live. But how is the Portuguese coming along? If you're struggling to make progress with the language or simply don't know where to start, then this video is for you. I'll be helping you put together a weekly study plan that will get you conversational in European Portuguese as quickly as possible. For those who don't know, I'm Liz. I relocated to Portugal from London myself in 2017 after studying Portuguese academically for over a decade, and I've been helping hundreds of people like you to build their confidence and conversation skills inside my Portuguese Pro program for beginners ever since. The free taster lesson is linked in the description if you'd like help getting started. So I know a thing or two about where you might be going wrong and how to use your time effectively. So grab a pen and paper and we will get started on the best study plan to get you conversational in Portuguese without a boring textbook in sight. So let's divide the page into 6. We will have a section for each day of the week and a section for the weekend. So the first thing we need to decide is when you are going to study, and this is totally dependent on your personal schedule. So maybe you have a super busy job in the week and want to do more on the weekends, or maybe weekends are crazy because the kids are home all day, so you want to focus during the week when they are in school. Whatever it is, I want you to think how you could plot out around 4 to 5 hours of study throughout the week. So as an example, let's say I'm going to do 1 hour between 9 and 10 in the morning, Monday to Thursday. And this would be perfect for me right now because my 8-month-old takes a nap at this time, and it's really nice to do something intentional just for myself. On Fridays, I'll take a day off, and then I will plot in another hour on a Saturday where I can do something to improve my Portuguese with her. And if you have kids, this is a great hack because you can do something fun and bond whilst reading a book or watching a cartoon or listening to a podcast. I've actually done a whole video on ideas of how to learn with kids here. I'll put that in the description for you to watch next. So that's my time plotted out, little and often, and the key being consistency. It will really help to keep things simple if you can study at the same time every day and build a habit out of it. So pairing it with something that you already do is also super helpful. That might be drinking your morning coffee or taking a walk. More on that later. So how are we going to fill this time? Well, I want you to allocate a time to study the 4 key components of a language, which is speaking, reading, writing, and listening. And no, I haven't missed out vocabulary. Learning a language is about so much more than learning a list of words. We want to incorporate learning vocabulary into all 4 of these activities, okay? So let's start with speaking, and I'm going to say I do this on a Monday. Obviously you can't speak Portuguese yet or you wouldn't be watching this video. So how can we practice? We're going to start by practicing our pronunciation with words that train our mouth to make all the different sounds that there are in Portuguese. Now, I told you in this recent video that reciting a list of words at the beginning of every class was something we did for months when I was learning Portuguese, and it worked wonders because those nasal sounds and shushes and vowel pairs like o and eu are really tricky for us to get right. So compile a list of around 50 words that you'll use to practice. And if you need help picking out those words, you can just steal the ones that I have in my free pronunciation guide. It's linked in the description and covers 7 of the most difficult sounds in Portuguese and has an audio to help you figure out how to say each one. So when you have mastered these words, you can progress to reading aloud from a book or a news article, and eventually progress to practicing speaking with a native speaker. So that might sound very scary and a long way off, but I can promise you, you can get there in a matter of months, like many of my students do. So if you stay consistent with a plan like this, that's what's going to get you there. So let's move on to writing. I'm going to do this on a Tuesday. So if we're just getting started, we want to be able to keep things very simple. I'd start with writing out in English a bunch of very short phrases that I'd like to learn to be able to A, talk about myself, and B, get around in practical day-to-day situations. So things like, my name is Liz, I'm English, the bill please, a glass of white wine please. All the things you're going to want to know to say over and over again while you are here. You can then use a tool like deepl.com to translate these for you and practice writing them out. Of course, one caveat is that computer translations are not always 100% accurate, so it would be ideal to be enrolled in a course where you can actually get feedback from a teacher on your writing. We do this for our students every week inside Portuguese Pro, and we also set a writing challenge every month. So if you'd like our help from saying your first words up to having your first conversation with 2 live sessions a week, then go ahead and register for our free workshop for beginners, where I give you a ton more self-study strategies like this one and all the info that you need to apply for the program. So we're up to Wednesday and it's time to do some listening. So this is the one that people dread the most, but I promise you we can make it fun. So I did this video a while ago with 3 self-study strategies for listening, but really the absolute best approach for beginners is music. I'll link this video below, but for a quick overview, you can use the app Lingo Clip or its desktop version Lyrics Training to listen to music with Portuguese lyrics on the screen. And this is such a nice way to let the vocabulary and sounds seep into your brain in a non-stressful way. So once you've listened to a song a few times and have an idea of the lyrics, this is a great exercise to then add to an existing active habit like walking the dog or washing the dishes. Stacking one habit on top of another has really been proven to be very effective in making the habit stick because it gives you a really easy cue. Time to walk the dog? Oh, let me put my headphones in and listen to some Portuguese. It really works, give it a try. Finally, on to Thursday, I have reading. So just like writing, this is going to depend on you making progress in the language through some kind of course, so you can gradually read more and more. But for my students, when they're just starting out, I give them a short article from a website like nit.pt or Time Out Portugal and ask them to read the piece aloud to get some extra pronunciation practice, and then look up 10 words they think are important to the meaning of the text. They can add these to their vocabulary sheet and then take a guess at what the article is about, and then they can pop the whole thing into DeepL for a full translation to see if they were right. Then all that's left is an hour on Saturday when I'll do something with my daughter. So we just got her signed up to the local library. So spending some time reading some board books with her will be ideal to go over things like numbers, colours, shapes and animals. So she's still at the age where she mostly wants to eat the books, but hopefully some of the words are still sinking in. So there you have it, a full weekly study plan that will train you in all 4 of the key areas that you need to get conversational, and we didn't even have to open a boring textbook. Of course, you will get the best results if you execute a plan like this alongside an in-depth course. So if you are wondering about my Portuguese Pro program and if it would be a good fit for you, then please do register for my free workshop for beginners, where we dive into pronunciation hacks, real-life practical dialogues and the essential grammar that you need to get started. I know it works because students like Maya are able to do super important things now, like getting the internet set up in their house using entirely Portuguese after only a few months of study. So the link to the workshop's in the description. I would love to see you there, and I'll catch you next week with another practical lesson to get you talking. Ciao for now.